That is rubbish. You are an investment. You are an asset to the country. You are building the country. I don't care what you're doing. You're building the country, and you should be treated as if you are. And as long as we are not using our own bank, this country will be privatized to the hilt. And those same people, the bankers who are collecting and in cahoots with our so-called government, that is the meaning of fascism. Jefferson said it, Mussolini said it. You might as well call fascism corporatism, because that's what it is. Now, what we have to push for is to get the charter using our own bank charter. It's still there. We can get 50% of our money created at no interest today. And we should go on from the 50% when we get it to the 100% that Mackenzie King promised. And like any politician, promises are like pie crust to them. And we never got that. And he switched it to 50% when he got in. Well, we want to go back to that and get the 100%. But first, we have to tell them we know what the charter says in the Bank of Canada. And we own that bank. Don't ever let anyone tell you it's not publicly owned. The Bank of Canada is owned by all of us. And even if we charge 1% interest, it goes back to us, okay? Our bank. We want that bank back. So this is what has to be done. If you want to come and learn more about the monetary history, how many presidents have been assassinated because they wanted the Federal Reserve taken out? They wanted to get their money back. 6, 7, I could name, there's lists of American presidents have been assassinated simply because they said the people should own the money. It should not be created at interest, not when it's new. It doesn't mean I'm saying do away with banks. No. I'm saying that when money is first created, if it has interest on it, that is a crime against the people. That money has never performed anything. It's brand new, just printed, and if you place interest on brand new money just printed, you are committing a crime against humanity. So if, pardon me, let's put it this way, money should not even be backed by gold, because the same people hoard the gold. Come on. There's some well-meaning monetary people who say we have to go back to gold. No, they'll just hoard that and they'll up it. Money should be something with no intrinsic value, like the Indians, the natives had wampum. Those were beads, that was their money. Money should have no intrinsic value. It represents all the resources of the country. It's an IOU to you, the citizen. It's your share certificate that you have a share in the resources of your country. And it should never be based on gold or any one resource. Water is worth more than gold. Come on. Water is worth more than gold. So money, real money, can be paper, but it must be based on every resource in the country, including you, and it must come out new with no interest on it. And this country could be absolute heaven, any country, if they would only get rid of the parasitical bankers. Bankers have a use. They have a use, but they should never keep a country under control and the government under control, which they do now. They are the biggest corporations. When you talk about corporate greed, the biggest corporations are the banks. And I'll give you one example of how much power they have. If a large corporation wants to extend, any corporation, they have to go to the Federal Reserve and they have to get approved. The loan has to be approved by them, okay? Now, this is what they do. They can say to that corporation, no, we're not approving your loan.
What are the Toronto Disaster Relief Committee petitioning the government?
Corporation take a dive. When those stocks take a dive, the Federal Reserve agents buy them up. When they buy them up, they keep them a few months, and then they say to the corporation, you know what, we will give you the loan. What happens? The stocks go way up again, the Federal Reserve agents sell them, wow, another windfall. They control the stock market. Anyone who thinks that the average man is going to make, come on, get over, you're in a dream world. So this is one example of how everything is rigged. So you don't want to play a game that's rigged. Don't play by their rules. You have to go farther than that and say, this is something we need to get rid of. This is a parasitical scheme. It's keeping the country poor. And no one ever asks, no, listen.
Sorry.
You watch the news all the time. What do you hear? Oh, we can't have this. We've got to pay down the debt. Notice they never say pay off the debt. It's impossible. So they say we have to pay down the debt. So you can't have this, privatize that. This is how they privatize things, to pay down the debt. And nobody ever asks them, to whom do we owe this debt? To whom? Tell me where all our interest is going. Tell me exactly. And no one ever tells you to whom the debt is going and the interest is going. And they will not tell you. They don't even want you to think about that, but that's the first question you should ask. Like any other crime, you always have to ask, who has the motive? Who has the opportunity? Who's benefiting? Come on. And the banks are leading. They fund the wars. They instigate the wars. Every war since the First World War and since Napoleon has been funded by the banks. They fund both sides. And the side they want to lose, they give a little less. They lend a little less. And the side they want to win, they lend more. Now, this is just an intro to what I teach. If you're interested, go on Facebook. I have taught for 7 years a free course at the university, Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. And it is called Studies in Propaganda. And I teach the propaganda about money primarily because all the other effects come from this one cause. I am not teaching effects. It's all very well to have an ain't it awful lecture, but I am more interested in teaching you how to solve it and the actual facts. And every lecture you will go home with 10 pieces of information, research papers. Don't believe me, you can do your own research. However, I will just end with this. I started at the United Nations as a reporter in 1956. I left the United Nations in 92 because it was totally corrupt. I raised a family in between times. My granddaughter's now at Western. She's going to be another investigative reporter. So my name's Sydney White. Get on the Facebook. If you want to come out in April, I start my course April 14th. It's a Monday. Please research your own, whatever you want to do after this talk. Please research the money, please. And if you want to show up, I'm there.